Tug, you are live on Skeptic Generation. How's it going?
Hi. I was wondering about, I used to watch a lot of call-in shows, and
Me too.
and a lot of times I find that the conversations are not, I don't know, as engaging. Well, when I watch you, I actually model a lot of my conversations around how you kind of handle them.
Yay!
Which is, I think, very understanding, and I think you listen first and respond after, which is very different than some individuals. I was wondering, kind of, do you have like a sort of list of rules, or like how do you approach it to be as ethical and productive as possible?
Got it. Okay, so I can think of a couple off the top of my head. So the first big rule that I would have is something that I said with the last caller meet, and that is all of these conversations need to be consensual. Both parties need to consent to having and being involved in that conversation. There are too many people who've reached out to me going, hey, I tried having this conversation with my family during the holidays and it was awful and nothing worked. And it turns out that they were forcing the conversation on family members that just wanted to eat their meal, you know?
Yeah.
So make sure that everybody involved wants to be there. Number two, operate with charity, right? Charitable listening is really important. Even if somebody says something off the wall, being charitable means giving them the best interpretation possible that you can think of. I'm getting a little bit of wind. Not sure what that sound is.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mic is awful. Here, I'll move it away.
No worries. I appreciate it. I have ADHD, so I'm just like trying to concentrate. Okay, so the principle of charitable listening is give people the best interpretation possible. If someone says something, give them as much leeway as you can, right? Let them live up to your best expectations or your best hopes of them. Don't just brand them as the worst you can think of. Number one, you're going to find that more often than not, even with our troll caller earlier, right? They had pessimism and atheism, or pessimism and skepticism mixed up. Those definitions were wrong. And often it's things like that that get in the way of meaningful conversation. So listening charitably is going to get you way, way further. Next, it's not all going to happen at once. When it comes to people changing their mind about things, they need to re-interact with it over and over again from different places, maybe, you know, with a better meal in their stomach or a little bit more sleep. Maybe they thought about a counterpoint and all of a sudden everything's kind of undone and they're coming back at it from square one. Ongoing conversations that may seem repetitive are really, really useful in changing people's minds in the long run for good reasons, which is why I've always tried to have ongoing conversations with callers, because over time, I think I've seen more lasting change. And then,
Right.
Yeah. And then, what else? Model the behavior that you want to see. If you're wrong about something, admit it. And honestly, be as positive about it as possible, because if you can show that it's okay to admit you're wrong, it gives them permission to be wrong about things too. People are more likely to want to reciprocate positive behavior that they see and interact with. And so if you are showing them that, they might be more willing to grant that as well. There's room to make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. Those are the big ones that come to mind. I think last is, if you get flustered or if you find yourself out of your depth, use that as an opportunity. You can actually make a bonding experience with that person. What you can say is, I have no idea about that. How about we both look it up and we come back together later and talk about it? Oh, I didn't know that. How about we, take some time and I look into that, and the next time we have a conversation, I can have a more understanding kind of talk with you because I will have looked into whatever it is that you said, or you have time to look into whatever it is that I said.
Great.
I think all of those things will really help, and also walking away when it's time to walk away. When you're done or you feel like, hey, you're out of spoons, you can hurt the conversation that you had. You can go backwards by burning out. So when it's time to stop, it's time to stop. And I think if you do those things, and if I had my head together enough, I would have numbered them for you. I'll try and do that in post when I post the clip. But hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Just last question. This is all I have, which is, how did you get here to the place that you're at, conversation-wise?
By screwing up a lot.
That's very fair.
So do you mean just in the way I have conversations, or do you mean like doing shows like this?
In the way that you have conversations, because like I said, I see a lot of people in the same position as you that aren't as charitable. What's the word? Aren't as charitable, aren't as let's say productive.
Oh my gosh. If you go back and watch some of my early stuff, I was a prick. I mean, I'm still kind of a prick. I'm working on it, you know?
Yeah.
But I was awful. I think one of the only times I was ever on the Atheist Experience, I was just foaming at the mouth. It took time. It took a little bit of patience and compassion. And honestly, it took me looking back at those conversations and going, that's not the conversation I want to have to move forward. So again, make mistakes. It's okay. You'll grow from it in the long run. I am not any different.
Right. Thank you very much. That was really insightful. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for calling. I really, really appreciate it. This episode was light on callers, and I really needed that. This was good. This was really good. All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
I like it. I like it. That was nice. I'll try and see if I can number those for the clip.